A single drop of blood wrote the beginning of legends. Nightfall draped the rugged mountains of the Aegean in silence and darkness. The sky was shrouded in a velvet blanket, and distant stars flickered with a trembling light. Cold winds swept across the rocky slopes, whispering ancient prophecies, carrying the long-muted echoes of the gods. Mortals, at that moment, would never know that something both terrifying and miraculous was about to occur. Perseus tightened his grip on Athena's gifted sword as he approached Medusa. The snake-haired monster turned anything that met her gaze into stone, spreading the weight of a dark curse. Perseus's heart swelled with fear as well as determination. With one final blow, he brought the sword down upon Medusa's head. Her scream split the night like sharp music, and then silence. Blood pooled thickly on the stone, but the moment it touched the earth, the ground cracked open and a milky white light rose. From that light emerged a creature the world had never seen before. A magnificent horse with crystal-shining wings. Beside him stood Chrysaor, radiating in his golden armor. Yet all eyes were on Pegasus. Pegasus opened his eyes for the first time. Every sound, shadow, and rustling leaf felt new and wondrous. On fragile legs, he took his first steps. Chrysaor nudged him gently and murmured, "You are not alone." His wings trembled unconsciously, and he felt the urge to break gravity's hold. He leaped a little, stumbled, and fell, but he did not give up. Athena's voice drifted to him on the wind. "Rise, little horse. The sky awaits your wings." With the first rays of dawn, Pegasus tried to make sense of the world around him. The texture of the earth, the quivering leaves, the sound of a distant stream, each was a miracle. Chrysaor approached, his golden armor gleaming, a quiet reassurance. Pegasus lifted his head, nostrils flaring, his eyes shining with curiosity and wonder. A few steps, a tentative leap, and then a tumble, but never surrender. Once more, the wind picked up. Athena's gentle voice returned. "Little horse, do not be afraid. The sky awaits your wings." Pegasus raised his head and took a deep breath. He brimmed with the desire to fly. Spreading his wings, he tried to lift off. His first flight was unsure and ungainly, wings flapping out of rhythm, always on the verge of falling. But instincts and perseverance kicked in. With time, his wing beats found their rhythm and harmonized with the sky. As Pegasus soared among the clouds, sunlight danced off his wings. His first taste of freedom felt like a real breath-filling joy. Chrysaor smiled faintly. "Do you see? The sky belongs to you." At that moment, Pegasus understood. He was no longer just flesh and bone. He was a creature of destiny, a bridge between mortal and divine. His wings were not just for flight, but for balance and shaping legends in the world. Pegasus's first steps were uncertain and shaky. Each footfall tested his balance on the unforgiving, stony ground. The world seemed vast and alien. Every leaf, every stone, every gust of wind a new discovery. His eyes, filled with awe, scanned his surroundings, dew-covered leaves sparkling, forests filtered by golden sunbeams, and the melody of distant streams. Every sound was a symphony, every scent a first experience. At his side stood Chrysaor, his golden armor flashing in the sun, offering a calm and reassuring presence. Though Pegasus felt peace near his brother, a spark of freedom ignited within him, as if the world was not enough. A greater adventure beckoned beyond. He began to experiment. He ran, pushing off the earth on shaky legs, stumbled, fell, but never gave up. His wings trembled gently, revealing his yearning to rise to the heavens. A few small jumps, followed by failed landings. Every fall was a chance to learn. As the wind picked up, the silent voices of the gods seemed to travel through the air. Athena's voice floated like a gentle melody. "Fear not, little horse. This is just your first step, unlocking the gates of destiny." Pegasus raised his head and pressed on, as if freed from invisible chains. Sunlight stroked his feathers, and the scent of earth filled his nostrils. Braver now, he ran with more intent, readying himself to soar into the sky. As the day went on, Pegasus explored his surroundings, traversing deep forests, leaping over rocky hills, crossing little streams. Every corner, every shadow evoked curiosity and wonder. But he was mindful, too, of a silent call from above. Olympus watched him, guiding him, ready to summon him when his time came. By afternoon, Pegasus climbed to the peak of a hill. He spread his wings, and as the setting sun painted the sky in orange, purple, and pink, glided gently. The wind lifted him, and for the first time, freedom tasted like a real breath. Chrysaor joined him. "You see it, don't you? This world is not only stone and soil. Every corner and breeze holds a lesson for you." Pegasus nodded, feeling a surge of excitement and curiosity. He was no longer just a creature, he was part of destiny. His wings symbolized his freedom and his desire to explore. As twilight approached, Pegasus approached a stream at the forest's edge. He bent to drink, saw his reflection. There was both curiosity and resolve in his gaze. Chrysaor watched and murmured softly, "You have taken your first steps, little friend, but the sky still awaits you." At that moment, Pegasus understood. Walking and running were no longer enough. He needed to master his wings. The sky beckoned. The clouds and winds promised a new world. As the day ended, Pegasus stood at the hilltop and spread his wings, floating lightly. The sky had become his home, and the energy and courage within him prepared him for greater adventures. Each step, each attempt at flight, carried him toward a future brimming with legend. Dawn gilded the grand peaks of Olympus as Pegasus stretched his wings. The sky now offered a new challenge. Though tired, he was resolute. He felt he was born not only to walk, but to fly. Gentle breezes ruffled his feathers, and melodies drifting through the clouds electrified him. Suddenly, a flash of light sped toward him Hermes, in silver armor and with a winged staff, swift as the wind. "Do not think speed alone will save you," Pegasus Hermes warned. "Every gust either lifts you up or casts you down. Feel them, read them, and adapt." At first, Pegasus struggled. His wings flapped erratically, twisting and stumbling. But his instincts and past attempts took over, and his wing beats gained rhythm, finding harmony with the sky. Each movement became a dance, every turn a brushstroke upon the clouds. As the sun rose, Apollo appeared, guiding rays of light toward Pegasus. "Let light be your guide. Do not just look, feel. Every shadow in the sky will show you the way." With Apollo's direction, Pegasus learned to sense the light gliding through the clouds, skillfully using sunlight. The sky was no longer just for flight, but a map to navigate with feeling. Artemis drifted up quietly and gracefully. Caution and agility must be your constant companions. Sense dangers, anticipate obstacles. Through the clouds, Pegasus learned to glide with agility, drawing close to mountain peaks, conquering imaginary obstacles. Each maneuver strengthened his celestial prowess and confidence. Hephaestus, waiting in the ember glow of his forge, fitted Pegasus with a light but sturdy silver saddle. This weight will not slow you down. Rather, it will add to your elegance. Trust it. The saddle's burden made Pegasus's flight steadier and more refined. He was no longer just a creature gliding. He was now a budding hero of legend. Days turned into weeks. Under the guidance of Hermes, Apollo, Artemis, and Hephaestus, Pegasus learned to fly, maneuver, and use his powers in the sky. Each god imparted not just technique, but lessons in courage, loyalty, and responsibility. One night, as Pegasus rested among the clouds, Athena's voice came on the wind. "Pegasus, you are not just a flyer. You are a bridge between mortals and gods. Your courage and loyalty will shape countless future stories." Pegasus bowed his head, feeling the sky and earth. He was no longer merely a creature. He had become a legend. The sky was his home, the wind his companion. He had completed his first true flight and begun to grow under the tutelage of the gods. At that moment, Pegasus realized flight was not just physical, but was the ascent of the soul. Every wing beat brought freedom, responsibility, and destiny. Suspended among the clouds, Pegasus had begun to craft his own legend. After his first flight, the gods of Olympus realized Pegasus's destiny would be anything but ordinary. The shadow of his wings would fall not only on the sky, but upon humanity's fate. So they decided to provide him with special training, not only to perfect his flight, but to shape his character and sense of responsibility. One morning, Hermes appeared before Pegasus holding his golden winged staff. "Pegasus, speed alone does not lift you into the heavens. If you lose control, freedom becomes your chain." Hermes challenged Pegasus to a race atop the clouds. They danced with the wind. Pegasus started out behind, but determination propelled him forward. He matched his wing beats to Hermes's pace and soon caught up. Hermes smiled. "Good. When you befriend the wind, no storm can halt you." The next day, Apollo summoned him at sunrise. The sun's rays reflected brilliantly off Pegasus's wings. Light opens a path, but can also blind you. Sense the world with your heart, not just your eyes. Under Apollo's guidance, Pegasus learned to read the dance of light and shadow. Even in the brightest day, he could now chart the truest course, understanding not just how to fly, but the language of light. Artemis led him into a dark forest, where the moon carved a silver path in the sky. The secret of the hunter is patience. Trust not just your eyes, but your instincts to detect danger. With Artemis, Pegasus spent the night learning to discern the tiniest forest sounds and the shifting of the wind. Agility became not just a skill, but an instinct. Hephaestus awaited him by the glow of his forge. Amid flames and the ring of a hammer, he gifted Pegasus a special silver saddle. "This is not your burden, but your strength. Forged in fire, shaped with patience. Trust it, for it shall elevate you." At first, Pegasus found the saddle odd, but soon realized its weight brought not burden, but balance. Every wing beat became more graceful and powerful. Days blended into weeks. With every lesson, not only his body, but his spirit was molded. Pegasus became not just a mythic beast, but a figure chosen by fate. Finally, one night beneath the stars, all the gods gathered. Zeus thundered, "Pegasus, your wings are no longer yours alone. They are the bridge between humanity and the gods. Soon your trials will begin. Then you will show what you have learned." Pegasus bowed his head and gazed skyward. In his heart fluttered a trembling not of fear, but the weight of destiny. Only then did he understand. His wings were not merely for flight, but for keeping the world's balance between gods and mortals. In the land of Lycia, a new page in destiny was turning. Here, human lives often intersected with the games of gods, and the path of every hero was wrought with pain. In this land lived a young man named Bellerophon, noted for both his courage and misfortune. Wrongly accused one day and sentenced to exile, he felt a profound yearning for justice kindle in his heart. Though all had turned their backs on him, an inner light had not faded. Gazing up at the sky, he prayed, "If the gods can see me, show me the way. My purpose is not vengeance, but truth and justice." That night, Athena appeared to him in a dream, holding shining golden reins. Her voice echoed both tenderness and authority. "Only a pure heart can summon Pegasus. If your courage is true and your soul honest, you will find him. Use these reins, but seek friendship, not domination. Waking, Bellerophon found the golden reins really in his hands. He knew the dream was a divine command, not a mere figment of his imagination. For days, he tracked Pegasus's trail. At last, by a crystal-clear spring, he found him wings spread, bending to drink, sunlight shimmering on his feathers. Bellerophon's heart hammered in his chest. Quietly, he knelt and wrapped the reins in his hands. Closing his eyes, he spoke in a low voice. "Child of the sky, I do not seek strength from you. I wish for loyalty and friendship. If we walk together, our names can be etched in the stars." Pegasus raised his head, seeing sincerity, not pride, in the young man's eyes. This was not a command, but an invitation. Lowering his elegant neck, he touched the reins. In that moment, an invisible bond formed between earth and sky. Holding the reins, Bellerophon felt a surge of trust. Pegasus accepted him onto his back, as if he'd been waiting for him all along. For the first time, with his rider, Pegasus unfurled his wings. Together, they rose into the sky. Clouds parted, the wind sang with joy. Tears streamed from Bellerophon's eyes as he shouted, "I am no longer alone." The sky embraced the two new friends. Each wing beat from Pegasus dispelled the shadows from Bellerophon's heart, a symbol of freedom, courage, and loyalty. From afar, Chrysaor observed and softly whispered, "Here is the true beginning. They will fly together, but the journey has only begun." The lands of Lycia trembled under the terror of Chimera, a creature born from the fires of hell itself. Half lion, half goat, with a serpent's tail, the monster burned villages and spread fear among the people. The king sought salvation in Bellerophon, who had won the friendship of Pegasus. At the first light of dawn, the beating of Pegasus' wings echoed through the valley. With both fear and courage in his heart, Bellerophon armed himself with his spear. Chimera attacked, spewing fire. Rising into the skies, Pegasus maneuvered skillfully, granting Bellerophon the opening he needed. The spear, glowing with crimson heat, struck deep into the creature's belly. Chimera writhed in agony, but Pegasus's agility saved them both. With a final blow, the beast collapsed to the ground. The people of Lycia celebrated, hailing Bellerophon and Pegasus as heroes. And Bellerophon learned that true strength lay not in power alone, but in loyalty and unity. Victory poisoned Bellerophon's heart. He began to see himself as equal to, even greater than, the gods. One night, he tried to ride Pegasus up to Olympus itself. In anger, Zeus sent a small fly. Pegasus reared violently, and Bellerophon was hurled to the earth. Though he survived, his pride was shattered. He was no longer the Bellerophon of old. Pegasus, however, remained in the skies. From the heavens came Zeus' thundering voice, "Human pride shall never ascend to Olympus." Zeus was moved by Pegasus' loyalty. He made him the divine bearer of his thunderbolts. Though honored by the gods, Pegasus longed for freedom. Yet in time, knowing that every flash of lightning reminded mortals of him gave meaning to his duty. Athena whispered to him, "The greatest freedom is found when joined with responsibility." Thus, Pegasus became the herald of the gods, the eternal symbol of courage, loyalty, and freedom. Years passed, and heroes faded into memory. Yet Pegasus still soared across the heavens. At last, Zeus granted him immortality. His wings turned into stars, and he became a constellation in the night sky. When people lifted their eyes to the heavens, they saw Pegasus. Poets drew inspiration, travelers found guidance, and children discovered a companion for their dreams. Pegasus was no longer a servant of the gods, nor a steed of mortals. He became the eternal guardian of sky and earth, the everlasting emblem of loyalty and courage. And now, before we end Pegasus's story, let's reflect together. Here are a few questions to think about. What if Bellerophon had not tried to ascend to Olympus? He would not have angered Zeus or fallen from the skies. His bond with Pegasus could have lasted longer, and his legacy would have remained honorable instead of tragic. What if Zeus had not turned Pegasus into a constellation? Pegasus's story might have been forgotten with time. People would not have seen his image in the night sky, and poets and travelers would have lost one of their greatest sources of inspiration. Pegasus may still be soaring through the skies. His wings remind us of courage and loyalty. If his journey has touched you, leave a comment below and share your thoughts. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and perhaps you'll see him not just as a legend, but as a reflection of your inner hero.